and the money was 1,000 shillings into my bank account. That's how I started my bank account at KCB in 1989 July. And then one day I remember I came from church here at Valley Road. I had only 1,000 shillings. I didn't have money for food at home. I didn't have anything at all apart from that 1,000 shillings. I had to evaluate within my heart. Do I keep these 1,000 shillings so that I can buy food? Or do I tithe the 1,000 shillings and then wait for the consequences? So I reasoned within myself. I said I will hand over the 1,000 shillings. So I did actually give it out. And as I was going home, I realized, of course, my siblings were home expecting for me to pay school fees for them the following day because it was on a Sunday and we were going back to high school. But that's why you need a wife with you alone. As I got nearer to my house in South B, I met with a friend, an acquaintance, who stopped his car and reversed. I asked him to reverse. And he asked me, I heard that you have stopped working. I said, yes. You are no longer employed. I said, no, I'm not employed anymore. He said, I know it is tough. What I would need to tell you is that I have gone through it myself, but please come out. I got out of my car, he also got out. He opened the door of his car. Below the pedals, he removed a newspaper, and there was a bundle of money this much. He said, this is for you. Use it. And when it is over, let me know, because I can introduce you to my bank account. You will be withdrawing, and you pay me when you get money. Yes. Yeah. So the first day, I had 30,000 shillings, which was a lot of money in 1980, and I went home with it. My wife did not ask me where I got the money. But I gave her money for food, I gave her money for school fees, and I paid the school fees for my siblings, and I was still rich by those standards. So I just want to tell you that in situations that are difficult, very, very difficult indeed, and you remain firm, God comes along in a big way and mighty way. I can tell you stories upon stories that some of the furniture that I use in my office, I never got it. I was given by an American corporation. I went to buy. I was overseas. My wife went there to buy. And he took a list of the things she needed. Of course, if I were there, we could not have taken as much because, of course, it cost us a lot of money. But she took so much, a whole truck full, big lorry of furniture of all types, carpets for the whole, to cover 6,000, in excess of 6,000 square feet. She took everything. And when I came back, I realized that he had taken everything, and I said, now how much would this be? We didn't know. We were waiting for the invoice to come. And we waited for the invoice. The first month it did not come. I was praying, please, let not this invoice come. Let not this invoice come until we have money, because these are strangers, and we did not want to expose ourselves to them. So the first month, second month, third month, fourth month, 1 year, I called the chief executive of that company, American company. I told, would you wish to have tea in my office? He said, yes, I'll come. So we agreed on a date. He came. We had tea together in my office. And what I took the opportunity to tell him, this is the furniture that we got from you. Because the dining table, the carpets, everything. I said, this is the furniture that we got from you. And I wanted him to say whether perhaps they may have forgotten. They're going to raise a fee note or something, an invoice. But we took tea together, and thereafter he left, and he didn't say anything about it. Now I can tell you it's 5 years. I have never seen the invoice up to today. 5 solid years. I've never seen an invoice. And we are still using the furniture. It's still good. Yes, it is still very good. So why am I saying this? I'm saying this in front of my wife, in front of my staff. My staff may not know where the furniture came from. But the furniture came from the Americans. But they have never invoiced us up to today. Now, I work with my wife, I work with my son, I work with my daughter. My son operates from, we have a field office in Gara, where we do motor vehicle valuations. My daughter is an engineer, works with me. So we work very closely every morning. She works in the office. And my wife works as the finance director and in charge of administration. And John here, he's in charge of a department called loss adjustment. I wish to tell you that it has not been easy. It's, for me, let me insist, it has not been easy. But you have to be very resolute as to what you want in life. When I stepped out of that office where I was employed, I was convinced that I was going to set up an office that will outlive me. Those are the words. And I've said it so many times, maybe it has become boring. I will start an office that will outlive me. I wanted that office to remain long as I have gone. And I say to many people that they do not want to set up offices like those that are set by my community. They set up offices that die with them. The minute you are out of the equation, that's the end of the business. So I said to myself, and I told God, I want to set up an office that will outlive me. I've worked there now for 29 years. I ought to have retired because, as I said, I'm 63 years old. But I'm hanging on there because I'm still energetic and I'll be able to climb a transformer. Is there anybody here from Kenya Power? I've done that for many years. And so I don't climb transformers literally these days because there are people who can do it. But I still can be able to work. And I convince myself as long as I'm able to be productive and I'm able to work, I continue working until God tells me otherwise. It has not been easy because I said I will start an office that will outlive me. How do you start an office that will outlive me? I knew that it has to be based on integrity. Those days I had not read all these books that you see around, like the business better than, no. What do you call this book by than good? We say good is the one that kills businesses.
Good to great.
Yeah, from good to great, and the other one due to last. I had not read those books. In 1989, I had not read, but I knew that I'm going to base my office on the principles of integrity, irrespective of what happens. So I started that from day one. It has not been easy. I recall in 1996, was it 96? Yeah, 1996, went for a management meeting somewhere, and the staff asked me, now that you have been on this business, some of us have left our jobs to come and join with you. And of course, we realize the way you are going, we are not going anywhere. You have to allow us to break so that we can also get business like the others. And God help me, I told them, my principle is no bribery, no shortcuts, integrity through and through. If you don't feel comfortable with us, I'm sorry. And when we went home that evening, my wife would tell you that we prayed, and the following morning they all resigned. So I was left almost alone again. I had to reconstitute another team. And I'll give John Jeroge a chance to talk before I close, because maybe there's something that they discuss while I'm not there. But I've stuck to those principles that it has to be integrity. It has not said, although it has not been easy, God has been on our side. The young people are very impatient, those who are coming in now. The millennials, they're very, very impatient. They don't understand. Like my son once asked me, what have you been doing all these years? What can you show for it? And I asked him why. He said, so and so's son, who was my classmate, told me that you and his father used to be classmates in the university. You and his father did this and that. You can see they can employ you 100 times over. I said, yes, they can. Why? Because I've been doing this. Is it, and since they were young, they have to keep on questioning me. And I have to keep on answering and telling them that we have to hold on. God will provide. God will give us. It's better to have only one other than have two. and eventually they turn against you because they are no presence. And of course, they couldn't understand. But I believe now that they are old enough, they can see what I spoke about. Yet, behind their back, they still feel that I have wasted time. I've wasted time. I walked very slowly. When there are projects that are out there, we'll tender like anybody else. We'll be called after the tender has been opened and be told yours was the best, but then you have to speak to these elders. And the language of the elders, in Kenya means 10%. Yeah, so I've told them, I don't know where to start. I recall one day I went to Intercontinental Hotel. I was invited for lunch, so I marched into that lunch. I went into that lunch, and there were 6 or 7 men, all seated, and one of the fellows who had invited me was there, who knew me, and before we could finish the meal, my host said that I have invited you in front of these men. These are both members of ABCD company, and what we want you to do is to we are going to do a risk management project for them. The fee will be determined by them. Those days in early 1990, about 1991, 1992, 60 million shillings was a lot of money. So I said, my fee, how much do you think it will cost you? Even before I could answer, he said, fee is 60 million. I said, 60 million? My fee will be about 1.5 million. He said, yes, it's 60 million. Then I couldn't continue eating. I sat there. But they were eating heartily and laughing. And so before they finished, I said, I'm sorry, sir, I can't do this. And my stand does not allow me to do this. I said, which stand?
So they are offering 60
million to me. I told them that my conscience does not allow me. You don't say Christianity. My conscience and my way of life does not allow me to accept this money and accept the business unless you allow me to quote myself and charge you the way I would do it in hours. And those days it was 5,000 shillings an hour, and I knew, of course, if I calculated to and fro and all the time, that it will never come to 2 million shillings. I was sure about it. So the one who was the boss, or rather the chairman of the board, grabbed the napkin, wiped his hands, and he stood up and said, and threatened my guy who had invited me. And he said, this is not what I expected of you. He woke up, he left, and the others followed suit. And I was left there with half-eaten food. The entire table. My host also stood up. He was the last one to go. I didn't have money to pay for that lunch. The waiters, of course, knew something had happened. They didn't know what had happened, but I was there. I was not eating. There were 7 plates half-eaten, and they had all left without paying.
Wow.
Yeah. You know, I had been invited. Yeah. So I was just praying that the world would break into 2 so that I can sink with them, because the shame was too much. But I sat there for some time, not knowing what to do. Then my host came back, and he didn't talk to me. He picked the bill, went out. Of course, he went to pay, and I was left there again. After some time, I woke up like a wounded elephant. I walked very, very slowly to the car and drove off. And that man never spoke to me for the next 5 years. Never spoke to me even a word for the next 5 years. But as it were, after about 5 or 6 years, there was a need by an international organization that needed somebody who would do something for them, who was ethical, and who would do whatever they wanted to be done without compromise. So he called me up. The same man called me up about 7 years later and told me, we have this and this. We believe we actually acted as if we had never met. So we agreed, and I was given the contract. I've done the contract for the last 20 years.
Wow.
without a break. And he's the one who introduced me to them. Yeah, he's the one who introduced me to them. So for the risk of talking too much, perhaps I wish to ask my wife to say something.
Maybe just before you do.
Yeah.
We are very interested in terms of, we got to know that all your family is with you now.
Yes.
Tell us how each one of them, from your perspective, they'll get a chance to share, I'm sure, from her perspective.
Yes.
But just for the sake of the other two who are not there, maybe your wife can share her part, but then the other two, how did that happen? Did you ask them to come?
No,
Yeah.
I didn't. No, as I said, we have 2 children. They are grown-ups. My daughter, when she left university, JKUAT, she joined Safaricom. Nation first? Nation? Attachment Nation. Then she ended up in Safaricom. She ended up in Safaricom as a base engineer, and she did well, and we did not interfere with her. We didn't want to ask her to come and join us or whatever, because, of course, they were looking at me and wondering, what is all this I keep on saying that I'm working? And there's nothing to show for it. So I didn't want to interfere with them. So after some time, my daughter one day came home and said, from tomorrow, I'm going to assist you. Then I remembered, when she said that, I remembered around 1990 or 1992, there was a gentleman who worked with us, who was an electrical engineer. We had taken him through a lot of training, and one day he also told me the same thing. From tomorrow, I'm no longer going to work for you. I'm going to work for so and so. And he left. My daughter then was in class 4, primary school class 4. She told me, Dad, when I qualify, I will come and help you.
Oh, she had him say that?
Yes.
Okay.
No, I repeated it at home.
Okay.
Yes. So my daughter, when I was in class 4 primary school, told me, when I qualify, I will come and help you. So I knew somehow, when she told me from tomorrow I'm going to assist you, that she actually meant it, and her words that she had said when she was in class 4 had actually come true. So that's how she came in. And when she came in, she looked around. She had done electronics, and she realized that I also do fire, and I also do fire engineering, some fire design sometimes. So she registered for a master's degree, and she did fire engineering also, so that she's able to help me in Kabisa. So that's what she has done. Now she has come in, and I never forced her. She's married, and then my son, boys unlike girls, they will never, they are not that compatible. And because my son could not understand what I've been doing all through these years without, when he compares me with other families that he knows of, I didn't feature anywhere within the line of those people who have been successful. So he said, I will never work with you. Unlike the girl, I will never work with you. I will never work with you. I will never assist you. I don't know what you have been doing all these years. And then he went on his way, doing all kind of things. Eventually, slowly, he came back one day and said, I wish to assist you in the areas of motor vehicle valuations. I said, you are welcome. So he came. No. Initially, he said, I was doing a project for Canada. Canada Insurance was going through a crisis. Files were legal because they had more legal claims that they could handle. So when he had me, I was constituting a team of casuals, and he volunteered. He said, then I will join them as long as it's not in your office. I said, fine. It is being done in Canada. So he had a troop of about 15 to 16 young graduates. So he monitored them and worked with them for about a year. Then after that, he has already put a foot inside. And when he worked there in Canada, they say he was very good. The reports I got is that he was very good. And he guided them very well. And the success was obvious because as per records of Canada, they were paying an average of 45 million shillings a month. 45 million shillings a month for fake claims. But by the time my son and the group left, they were doing about 6 million claims, worth of claims per month. So the success was obvious. And therefore, we were very proud with him. But then he said he wants to, I want to assist you in the motor vehicle valuations, but I will not be based here in your office, I will go elsewhere. So we have many sites. So he went to Nagara, and that's why he's operating from. Now he's in China, Canton Fair. He says that there are more better things that he can do other than organizing valuations. So we are still on the way. Yes, that's how they came in.
Okay.
My wife also was working, and I did ask her to come and join me because I had a lot of travels. I had to go to Western Kenya, I had to go to Eastern Kenya, I had to go to Uganda, Tanzania, all the way to Zambia, Malawi, and I said we need somebody here in the office. But the truth of the matter is I will not be able to afford to pay you, but just come so that at least you'll be able to ensure that even in my absence, that the office does not close down. So she came, and so we have been together for the last 7 years. She runs the administration office. She is my wife, lovely wife at home, but in the office she's a staff. And perhaps.
Okay. Yes, good.
I think I've said enough. 10 years ago, as I was pursuing my little things, the government of Benin came over and asked me if I could be their representative in Kenya. So I said yes. They had gone through the rigors of vetting and everything else. And by the time they came to me, they were through with the vetting.
Yeah, tell us a bit more how that happened, because I think that's a very powerful story.
How that happened is simple as I have said. I didn't know where Benin was, because when I was in school in 1970s, Benin was called Dahomey. So when they changed the name to Benin, I didn't know when. I knew there was a country by the name of Dahomey, but I mean, like for you, for instance, you guys, would you know where? Not Costa Rica. Just a name, Costa Rica. Do you know where it is? Do you know the capital?
No.
You know, it's the same thing. I didn't know where Benin was. And so when they got in touch with me, and they asked me if I would wish to be the representative of that nation, I said yes. I didn't know where Benin was, but sooner or later I got to know. I was actually invited. Somebody from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs went to our church. They were looking for me. They were looking for Kigo. No, they were not looking for Kigo. They were looking for Kigo generally. They didn't know where they could get him. But when she went to church, and I was not in church that day, I think because she was an elder in the church, they saw the name Kigo. So she asked people whether she could meet that Kigo. So it's her. So they met her, and they wanted to know whether she's related to me. What did you tell them?
They gave me the two names.
Yeah.
Whether I could be related or I know him. And I said, I'm the one, what is wrong? So there's a letter in our office, we'll be looking for him.
The office of the Minister of Foreign Affairs. And when I was told that there are people looking for me at the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Mark, you have never had anything to do with the government at all. The only time I have had relations with the government is when the policemen have arrested me for overspeeding or for something similar. So I kept away from the government completely. So I was told to go to a government office. On Monday, I didn't go. On Tuesday, I didn't go. Wednesday, I said now.
So how did they get your name?
They have been sent by the president of Benin.
How did he know your name?
I had been introduced by people who worked at the UNEP to hit in Benin. They are the people who had introduced me. But I didn't know. Like if I went somewhere in a market and say there's a man I know by the name of Tim Mwangi. Who's Tim Mwangi? Then they were doing some vetting, and I do not know, and that man did not refer back to me. So when eventually I went to the ministry on a Wednesday, I I told my driver to stay across the road so that if I don't come out, then you tell where I entered into that building. So when I went to that building, I walked over the stairs. I was very nervous. I got to an office, that floor, the one had been advised to go. And when I got in, I said, I've been asked to come here. They asked, who are you? I said, my name. He said, oh, you're the one. We have been looking for you. Then I was so scared. Then I was asked to wait in the waiting room. As she went around looking for other people to come. And when I met the minister, he said, welcome to the field of diplomacy. Here is only eating. We only eat, dance, and something. Then, of course, then the rest followed. I was taken to the president. I was given a letter of appointment that is usually presented to the president. And the rest is history. I've been there for 10 years. And I trust I'm doing my job well as the Consul General of the Republic of Benin to Kenya. Yeah. Thank you.
Wow. Allow me just to suggest, since I've heard this story before. I mean, but for me, the fact that the president of Benin would ask, I think he met this American who worked for UNEP and said, we are looking for somebody from Kenya. Do you know somebody who, again, this is the whole idea of being ethical. Do you know somebody who we can trust? And the fact that you would refer to him and so on. And of course, you have to go through a lot of vetting by Interpol and the government of Kenya, the government of Benin has its own work, the United Nations has its own method of verifying and so on. It's a coveted thing. I think people at the minister are asking you, who did you know? Who did you pay money to get this job?
They told me that these positions are not gotten easily. It's through wheeling and dealing. I can still remember what he told me. It's through wheeling and dealing. And do you know the president of Benin? I said, no. Have you ever met him? No. Have you worked in Benin? No. So, in fact, they all through, even up now, they assume that I've been faking. I must have known him. But I can tell you before God, I never knew him. I eventually became a very, very good friend of mine because he's born again. Yes. But he's now out, another one has come. But the new one who has come has continued. Whereas I would have retired last year, after 10 years. They have not said anything to me. I would have retired, I have not, because it's a 2-term contract, 5 years renewable with an option to renew. So they renewed the first time. So that brings me to 10 years last year. So this year they have not renewed. I've not been told anything, and so I'm still going strong.
Yeah.
And but I believe one thing: when the time comes for me to go, I'll say Asante Sana. If they don't come, I'll still continue saying Asante Sana. Thank you. Maybe I could ask my wife to say something.
Sure.
Kidogo.
I'm not a stalker to Mzungu. I really do not know what to say and what, how to summarize this. But well done. He has done it well. I think I have been behind the scene. I have been supporting him in every aspect of his life. And I'm proud of him. I have learned a lot, even as a wife. Particularly that aspect of the furniture, he has taught me to have faith in God more than I did her. And with that measure, I had the confidence to take that entire more than expected. That is in the area of the furniture. Because of the faith he has had in the past, because it has not been easy for those years. I particularly remember one day we were looking for desks, and in my opinion, on my assessment of the size of the office that time, was one desk was sufficient. I had mine, he had his, we had one member of staff, he had his, but he had a dream that we are soon going to be many. And there was an auctioneer called Forefront at Kenyatta Market. And we went there, and he encouraged me to take 5 desks. And I was asking him, how do we ever pay for these 5? He said, the Lord will provide. And so, with the doubt, I still took the 5 desks. And this man visited us several times, and every time he would tell me, the Lord will provide, and we will pay you sometime. You get agitated, but you still finally pay. And on, many others. There are very many events that we have gone through together. And because of the faith in God, we have managed. Which is the other interesting one? Yes, on the side of the furniture, on the side of the children, he has done it well. None of them was invited to come, but they voluntarily came. And the most impressive is the girl who had this challenge of an engineer living, and she desired to help Daddy. And that is how come she joined us. We never forced it. And we thank God. We are very proud of them and what they are doing, the contribution they are making to the office. I do not know what the staff would say, but again, we have considered each other as members of staff. I remember this girl who worked with us for some time, and she did not know we are husband and wife. So up to date, she's still there. She has worked for, she's actually John's boss. She one day came and now she's married with 4 children. And she told me, I have admired the way you people work and the respect you have for each other. I don't know, I would want to have that kind of marriage at home, the husband and wife. But when it comes to serious business out there, we respect each other that way. One particular example for those who may desire to work together is when I came late to the office and the staff was seated. And he said, what time is this, Mrs. Karaoke? Go back. And they couldn't believe it. So in the office is Mr. Trevor and I'm Mrs. Karaoke. And we don't, it's not by design, just the staff choose whichever name to call us. And the children also would refer to us as Mrs. Karaoke or Mr. Kiro. And we thank God for that. This time when we had only one house.
We're interested to hear what you said.
Yes?
I thought you would say I was taking care of your things at home.
No, I walked away. I was upset, of course. I walked away. I had a relative who had a studio somewhere on Tabada Street. So I went and sat there. For some time I recovered and went back to the office. I didn't respond. I didn't answer back. And I have never, it's my weakness, I would not do that. Because I respect the office and I had failed. So I admit I have failed. So at home I say sorry. The children and the vehicle, it was a challenge. Of course, I was not an irresponsible wife. I tried all I could to take them to schools. I would ask for lifts. The most painful is when one of the relatives left me on the road with the 2 children. They were in St. Mary's and Mzungu. We are in South B. It's quite a distance. Then the Lord provided another car after some time. But both were very old. And St. Mary's and Mzungu were schools of class by then. So the children asked me to come to the bedroom one evening. And the boy was the bold one. He asked, why do we have the oldest vehicles in this world? And I quickly thought of the response. I asked him, by the way, how many children walk to school? The children who live around there, they belong to the members of staff. And he told me this one, that one, and they would quickly say, how many come by school bus? They said. How many are brought by public transport? They said. Which one would you prefer? We have the old car, yes. Which one would you prefer? Then they saw sense in it.
Yeah.
And I told them, let's start praying for the kind of car you would want. And they started praying for a car in the shape of a matchbox. Because the one we had was a pony, Hyundai. The one that is cut at the back. So they said, I told them, let's believe in God that you provide that kind of a car. And a relative one day came a year later, and he told me he's selling some cars. That's why he had come to see a friend around where we were in the office. Then I said, what are they? He said they're Nissan Sunny. And they are white and grey, and I really value grey. I love the color grey. And he said, how much are they? He said, each one is 400,000. And 400,000 is a lot of money by then. Then I said, can you keep the grey one for us? And this car came. It's a matchbox shape. I have loved it. I love the color. It's what the children want. And now, he's my relative, not his. So the idea of having a new car, we have no money. And I took it. I actually took it. And then I have to go home and explain how are you going to pay for this car? I said, the Lord will provide. This has been his message. The Lord will provide. And actually, he provided 70,000 shillings. And to pay for that car was very painful. This is my relative, this is my husband. We finally finished. But it is a kind of a relative who would go and tell somebody, my relative in this office owe me, so go and get money from there. And you are not prepared, you don't have the money. But somehow the Lord provided. And we did not only buy that one, even the white one. At a later date we bought. So the Lord has been faithful. It has been a very challenging walk. The greatest challenge, and I think John may know, or he will share, is the people we work with or work for. In this nation today, there's a lot of mischief in offices because you represent a report of integrity, but getting the payment. When they want this assignment carried out, they want it like yesterday. But when it comes to the payment, you really suffer. Up to date for those many years. And I remember I used to go for debt collection. And one person would call, or I overheard them say, this man has engaged his wife to be harassing us. So at some point, I withdrew from that. The other offices, they would say, there's a show here looking for money. And so it's a difficult exercise. The other ones would be bold enough to tell you, this is what is happening in the market. That's what our son experienced. And that's why he said, this business is difficult. If you are getting 1,000, mine is 500 shillings. This is an employed person, and he wants that. Yours is a genuine fee. How do you pay out of the genuine fee that is payable to you? So it's a difficult market. It's a market that we wish to covet your prayers for, because this is the young generation, and we keep passing on the good gospel to them that you don't have to do it. The Lord will still provide you. But it's very, very, very challenging, because they would tell you, they would tell my son, maybe they wouldn't, but this is the order of the day. That is how they are doing it. That is how come your competitors, within a very short period of time, they have skyscrapers and they have big cars, and yours are still the old ones. But we have invited the Lord to help us walk through this walk. It is not easy, but we are looking forward to the likes of John and others to adopt or to believe in integrity and in service to God. Because if it's a service to God, you will do it unto God, not unto man. I think that's about all, unless anybody has a question.
Allow me to request for an experience, since I happen to have interacted with them, because we did the ethical assessment. They are one of the companies that has come through there, so that's why I got to know some of these stories. Tell us about the Karatina experience, if you don't mind.
Yes,
I think it will illustrate.
I think, yes, and not only that one. There's a recent one, a more recent one.
Oh, okay.
In those assignments we do, they are very risky, I would say so. We keep praying. against the weapon of the devil. We always say we will not prevail. Weapon fashioned against him. There's a fire. I accompanied him to assess in Karatina, and we did assessment, and he did his job. And the insured had booked for us outspan, so he invited us to go and have anything, and we can even spend the night. But he told me, like he has always done, such offers are very dangerous. You don't go for them at all. So we came back home, and he did his report. But the moment this man got to know he is not going to be paid a penny, he came to the office and threatened that he's going to kill him. And from what we discovered, he had borrowed a lot of money, so he had to do funny things so that he can claim. So the date he came to kill him, he had another job in Kericho. So he had gone to Kericho, and the person told the secretary, it is either him or me who is going to leave. He went and committed suicide. So himself, he didn't find him. He was told he has gone for an assignment. So he killed himself. So that is just one of them. Another one is when another client came with, was it 5 guns, put on the table just to intimidate you and threaten you. Yes, he has gone through it all. But the most recent one is a nation who is quite prominent in this nation, and they had a fire, and they did their report and, outside Nairobi, and he was very uncomfortable when the report was given to our clients. Are the insurers, they are the consumers of the reports. When he learned that he has been discovered, he will not be paid the money, he asked him to go for a meeting. After everything has been done, they once had a meeting with our client, the insurer, and the matter was over because he said, this report is against him. Then the insurer told, there's a meeting of the three, him, the insurer, and the claimant. Then he told him, he asked him, what can you do? He said, I can't do anything, I have done my bit. Ask your insurer. Then the matter ended there. He came home and he shared with me. At a later date, he calls him for a meeting and the matter is over. Then I told him, you cannot go back there. You can't. He said, the matter is over. He said, no, he's calling me for a meeting. Let me go and explain. I said, this time he won't go. So he didn't go. The person decided to come. When he came, no, he called him to Nairobi. It's in Eldoret. So when he came, he called him. He said, I want to meet you. I quickly told him, tell him to meet you at Village Market. Then at Village Market, because there is a balcony there, I can walk around when they are having coffee just to see, but I was literally scared. I was very scared. But I prayed. And he told me, I'll go. The Lord will protect me. And when they were seated, I told him, don't even take a cup of tea because they don't know what he has for you. So I saw them taking tea and I told God, let this be safe. And when they shared that cup of tea, he just looked at him and said, I wanted to know what you are made of. Yes, you could not take my offer, 400 million? I said, 400 million. To process the claim so that you can get it billions. He said, even if it was more, I wouldn't. It is against my principle, it's against my faith. So I thank God for this.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I may repeat my names. I'm John Jeroge. I've been working in safety surveyors since 2013. I joined the company in the management level. After campus, you get the management trainee. And I remember when I joined, the first experience within a week, on a Saturday there was a bullet that came in to require the secretary to his office seats. And since I was coming to a new industry, I didn't know. I was wondering, why would there be a bullet in there? Because everybody else appeared worried. But I was wondering, why would there be a bullet that has been put through the roof? So to me, I thought, just because we are next to highway, maybe that's were being chased and the bullet came in. Then the first assignment, we went to Awendo, this Sonny Sugar, with one of the officers. He has since left. And when we were there, he was telling me, I can see you, young man. Here you can make money. Within the next one year, you can be having like 3 cars. So I was still not yet understanding exactly what we are doing. That there was a bullet, and now I'm being told I can make money. So I really tried to, but I thank God, after about a month, one of the managers came from Mombasa, and he came, and after we chat, he told me, follow my steps. When you see me walking out, ask me where you're going. And I started working with him. So anytime I could see him with a diary, I would ask, Mr. Kenya, where are you going? He tells me, follow me. And within a span of about 3 months, I had understood what we were supposed to do. We're in the service industry where we offer services to the insurance company. When there is a loss, we assess the loss and advise if the loss is payable. And Mr. Kenya was a mentor to me. He taught me the work, but he told me one thing: if you want to survive in this market, you must be a man of integrity. So I had to think of myself. I've been brought up in the village. I came to Nairobi because of education. So I said, I need to be in this Nairobi. So if Kenya has been working in this since 1994, and he has told me the only thing that will help me start is integrity, then I have to keep it at all costs. I've now worked. I've been about there for about 5 years. It has been a nice experience. One, I thank them for giving me that chance because I've learned a lot. But I have built a career in it. But in that, there are so many things that will come that sometimes tempt me to shake us. Because there are some people, we are of different characters. Some will say, you see now, Mr. Kego, we cannot get business. Just because he's told, where do I come, we get some work. Those guys sometimes do not even ask for much. They want something, privately, then I'll be sending you instructions that any claim that comes, the first priority is who? And people are doing it, but ourselves, we are not doing it. So people will keep complaining, saying, I wish Mr. Keko can give something, and I think we would be doing very well. But such companies do not survive it long. Because if you get the jobs, you also want to make other cash. You will go and fail at some point. But for us, we would say God has kept us. Because even some of the assignments that we do, like the biggest account I manage, he tells me it's not that we went and waited for it. It's somebody who will come in and say, if you want that business done, the only person who can sort you in this Kenya is called safety surveyors. And that is one of the biggest accounts that we are running. So, my encouragement I would say is, when that integrity principles, sometimes you think it's just small thing. You can just have other hard deals and life moves on. But that's one principle. It's a long-time investment because like now that big account we're managing has given us some good cash. It's something that I hold so dear like myself because I know the margin it brings. But you see, we did not even wait for it. He did not go asking for, can I tender for this? But they called him because they know it's only safety surveyors who can be able to sort out that account. So it has taught me a lot because sometimes I remember there's a time I went to Mombasa, we had a claim of 500 million, that is half a billion. And we met the owner of the business. And he said, oh yes, 3 men have come and they are very young. I think that was the day I saw some big money in dollars. Because he had some briefcase, he called his son, they were working the son. And he says, tell them, this all theirs, it was about 50 million he was telling us. Even if you cross to Uganda, that is enough for your career. And what we thank God because out of that, we told him, you cannot be able to work unless you open your cards, tell us what you have done, then we will see what to do. So he told us, yes, even the report I'm relying on has been manufactured by so and so. He called him, he came and told us, yes, I have manufactured this report this way and this way. So he made finishing our work very easy. Report, and we are still moving on, and we are very happy because in such a claim, we equally eat well. So out of integrity, we are able to do it, and I believe by God's grace, we shall move far. With integrity, I know we can move far. You might look at it and look at, sometimes I look, every time you go for an assignment, you come with a promise. Can we give you $1 million? Don't worry about documentation, I'll do it. But I look at it and look at, if I hit that 1 million shillings, then I sit in that office. Then the file is mentioned, because sometimes you keep referring to those files. Somebody will mention a certain file. Then the next thing that comes into your, there's one we did. My friend had done a vehicle had been stolen in Langata. So he did a report. When it came, by then I was not even in management level. But since he was my manager, so as he read the report, I was much interested, and I told him, no, that report will not be like that. I believe something is fishy somewhere. So I had to go to Kisumu and do that. But because the guy who had done it in Langata had taken something small, even when I was in Kisumu, any minute I called my boss, tell him any development, he would ask, Joroge anasema nini? So he was so much worried about it. And that KBW up to date, until he left, he has since left. He never wanted to hear the story of the premium KBW because it might backfire on him. But we thank God the far we are. Again, the last thing I want to say is, out of what we have learned from Mr. Kebo, one, despite being our CEO, he's so close to us. Even when we are going to the field, we will go speaking like equal officers. So we have learned a lot from him. There is one of my friends and one of my officers we work with. He tells me, sometimes we are tempted with these things of take a tip. But when that thing clicks in my mind, I always see like Mr. Kebo is seeing me. So at least he has impacted on our lives. That the issue of integrity, somebody might be tempted. But out of what he has instilled in us, when those tips, and they're usually very good promises, which I'm made to believe they are usually true sometimes, because somebody can believe you, but he wants to pay you after the claim is settled. So sometimes you might already find you have already been used, because you have seen history of things like that. So that quality of me tells me, when these guys tells me like this, I always remember what you speak with Mr. Kebo when you're on assignment. And they see it's like I'm with him, so I have to keep the promises that we make, that I'll keep the integrity. So at least it's impacting on us, and we're happy of that. And thank you very much.
I needed to say this, that we have painted a picture as if life is very bad. No, far from it, life is not bad. We are surviving. And there's not a question that, you see, once you commit yourself to God, God also commits himself to you. There's a time somebody has, like he is saying, someone has chosen to shoot into my office, maybe perhaps by chance, you get me. But it fell short of my office, it fell in my PS office. Unfortunately, she was not there. But God will protect you. Let it not be said here that you can't do it because you're going to be killed, you're going to be shot, you are going to be what. No, far from it. God will protect you. There are occasions when I leave the office around 8 o'clock, when I step out on the parking lot, the Lord reminds me, check on your left. I check and I say, oh yeah, a car with 3 men inside. But I said to myself, what can they do to me? What can they do to me? Absolutely nothing. I get into the car, I drive off, nothing happens. The car she bought, the grey vehicle, there's time I went to pick it from the parking lot. And there were about 4 men. Those days, cars were being stolen every single day. There were 4 men who were surrounding the car. So as I walked in and I came close, I realized these men are surrounding my car. And I can't get access to it, and I'm holding the key. I said, God is between me and you. I came whistling, pretending that I'm I didn't care. I came whistling, but I was praying. I opened the car. They were all looking at me. I reversed, they moved away, and I drove off. Nothing happened. So I'm saying, let's not create a situation that the situation is impossible. Because God is able to protect you at every point of the way. I do recall when somebody who was very senior in the army, the senior most, because there was a fire somewhere, and 4 children perished inside. And the mother also was seriously injured. And I am sympathizing. But at the same time, I have a job to do. So then he tells me, okay, let's say this is the work of Kenya Power. This is electrical. I said, no, I can't say that. He said, well, you appear to have a heart of an animal. I said, no, sir, I can't say this. It is not Kenya Power. They are not responsible. This is Samson. Come, I'll demonstrate to you. The first started from here. Let's cook this ash and test it. With my mobile hydrocarbon detector, I can say there was fire. There was an accelerant. Please. And they said, no, there are only two choices. You either say what I'm saying, or you suffer the consequences. So I didn't answer. I proceeded on. Nothing has happened. I'm still here. And I did not say it is Kenya Power. So what I would need to say is that God will protect us. This nation is ours for keeps. Let's not let it go to the dogs. You know, people will come and threaten you. But I keep on saying, if they kill me, Njoroge will continue with the same thing. And you say the truth. And the other one behind him also says, speak the truth. Let's speak the truth, for God's sake. And let's not fear that things are going to turn against us. As long as I've been there for almost 30 years in the same field, doing the same thing, and every day I'm stepping on other people's toes, and every day people are coming to my office with guns, but I'm still here because I know God protects. And besides, you'll never go hungry. Don't let no one cheat you. You're not going to go hungry. Never. Nothing like that. We are able to move, and we are clothed. So, and we have food. We have a roof over our heads. I mean, what is all this business about? So let's continue. Let's wait upon the Lord. He is faithful. He is able to protect us. He is able to guide you. You have more than enough. Your children will take off from where you stopped, and they will continue, and our businesses will live forever. Amen.
Thank you, President Kigo. That was a very good way of ending this session.